now the sun's come out and it's lifted a little bit. Still a little bit misty, but look how far you can see. I mean, the camera can't pick it out, but the naked eye you can see for absolutely hundreds and hundreds of miles across the top of the mountains there and down into the valley. Yeah, it's absolutely stunning. What a place. Welcome back to this trip along the famous route of the N2 through Portugal. In our last video, we'd made it up to the top of the mountains to this range of windmills, but with the low cloud cover, we couldn't really see too much. And after a quiet night's sleep, we woke in the morning to this fantastic view. There's an old derelict building here, probably was a cafe or something like that, but you look inside the windows, it hasn't been used for years, so we just tucked the van in behind there for a little bit of shelter, but it was really peaceful. There is a bigger car park here, but not quite level. And then just check out that view across the mountains there into the distance. .360-degree views all around this location, well high up in the mountains. Lovely, what a cracking spot. This has been a really interesting place to come up to. Try and pick a clear day if you want to come up and have a look at the windmills, because when the cloud is low, as you've seen on some of the pictures, it does really roll over the hills and covers everything. You can't see anything at all, but now the sun's come out and it's lifted a little bit. Still a little bit misty, but look how far you can see. I mean, the camera can't pick it out, but the naked eye you can see for absolutely hundreds and hundreds of miles across the top of the mountains there and down into the valley. Yeah, it's absolutely stunning. What a place. And we had such a peaceful night last night. Nobody up here, you know. There's one or two locals, I think, have got these little windmills, and they sort of converted them into tiny houses. So there was one or two cars popping up here, but yeah, lovely. What an amazing spot. Right, onwards down the N2 to our next destination. After the mishaps of our previous video using Google Maps and nearly getting stuck in that tiny little village, we decided to go back down the mountain the way that we came up, heading slightly north back towards the N2. And then left turn onto the N2 to rejoin heading south, down to a little town called Villanova de Darez for a spot of lunch. So we've just pulled into the next little village, Villanova de Darez, on the N2, just come down from the mountains from that previous park up, and we just wanted to service the van. So we put in local airs, and there's another perfect example of what Portugal provides for motorhomes and camper vans. There's a beautiful little hard stand in here. There's about 9 clearly defined bays, and another motorhome parked over there, and then I'll just show you the service point, which is really fantastic. These are the signs that you want to look out for when you're travelling around. This is a camper van service point here. Fantastic toilet emptying facilities there, and obviously water to rinse the toilet out. There's waste bins here for your rubbish. You can drive over this huge grate here to empty your grey water, and then there's a separate potable water supply over here. And the thing I like about this one is the water supply for drinking is really far away from the toilet emptying facilities, so you know that nobody hopefully has used that tap to rinse their cassette out. That's one of my concerns when we're travelling around. Right, there's a little market on here on the Monday over in the car park over there, and we're going to take a wander into the town and catch a bit of lunch. I've no doubt the van will be absolutely fine in that little air in the town there, but just as a precaution, we always leave the Wi-Fi on in the van. We put the little Neos smart camera on, which is obviously monitoring anything it sees and anything it hears, and we also stick the tracker on as well, and that monitors everything from the van's location, the battery voltage, and any vibrations as well. We're just going to see if we can get into the little park here, because it looks like there's quite an epic waterfall that ain't even working because there's no water in it. Now we'll scratch that idea. Scratch it. Go to the bar. And for those of you that are feeling very energetic and into your hiking and long walks up in the mountains around this area, there's hundreds of walks there. Tells you all about it on the chart here, all the gradients, etc. And I'll just quickly zoom in so you can click on any of these QR codes if you want to further details. So this is where we've chose to have our lunch, and we've got to take obviously the obligatory photo. Right, let's go and grab something to eat, babe. So we're in Ribera's bar, just off the N2, spot of lunch, and we've gone for the Ribera toasters, which is a cheese, bacon and egg toasted sandwich, a few chips, and a cheeky beer and a Coke to wash them down with. Oh, they look good, don't they? Right, so what's the verdict on lunch?
It was nice.
It's a bit like breakfast in a roll, really, but lovely, really, really nice. Freshly cooked. Yeah, so I recommend it. If you're on the N2, pop into Ribero's bar, tell them that we sent you. You won't get any discount, sorry about that. No, it was lovely, really nice bit of lunch. So back in the van, carry on down the N2 to our next destination.
Let's go.
All down this N2 route, loads of the local towns and villages have embraced this historic route. And, you know, the passport system and so forth has made it really interesting and a good way to see Portugal. A lot of the local businesses have also taken part in it, and like we've just done in the cafe there, you can enjoy a nice meal and then get a stamp in your passport. And check out this mural on this building behind me. All along this route there are these commemorative signs. Obviously a couple of years ago it was a 75-year anniversary, so you'll see these whenever you enter a new district. And if you come across these and you're doing the N2 and you see one of my stickers, don't forget to take a photograph, put it on social media and tag me on Instagram. Here's my tag underneath here. Cheers guys. Right, we've come only about half an hour from that last little town, further down the N2, and come into a tiny little village. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. It's Gois, G-O-I-S or Gois. Yeah. And yeah, it's really picturesque. Tiny little place, but set right next to the river. And yeah, really scenic. So if you're looking for a nice little spot to stop over, have a bit of lunch or whatever, it's really pretty, really beautiful. And I'll turn the camera around and you can have a better look around. Now, I've seen on the photographs online when we looked at this place that on this big spit of land, well, sand, in the middle of the river, which I guess is man-made, they have all tables and chairs and parasols out here in the summer, and a bridge across some little cafe that's over the other side there. So yeah, you could come down here in the summer months and have a nice spot of lunch and a cool drink and sit in the sun and overlooking this lovely weir. So parking in Gois, or Gois, however it's pronounced, is provided for like in abundance, to be honest. There's a huge, great big motorhome and camper van parking area here where the van's parked. A massive, great big car park with all marked out bays. I've counted 80 bays here. So yeah, huge facility. And as always, you've got a service point over here. So you can service the van, fresh water, empty the toilet. There's recycling bins here as well. Again, and it's all free, you know, no charge for this facility. And if you walk in the other direction, back along the main road, following the river along here, it's only about less than a kilometre into the main village. And you've got all the sights of the river and the bridge and the river walk and the cafes and bars and so forth and restaurants. So yeah, really easy to park here and a super lovely little scenic village. Right, onwards again, further down the N2 to our next destination. That was a really nice little picturesque village, that, you know, with the river and that lovely stone bridge and those couple of cafes where you could probably in the summer, you know, sit in the middle of the river there. It was really pretty. And yeah, that would be a nice little stopover if you was deciding to do the N2. We're now heading, in a couple of days time, we'll be in, you know, halfway down the N2. And there is a monument there to mark what they call the geodesic centre of Portugal. So the very central spot of Portugal, there's a huge, great big monument there. I think tomorrow, possibly, we'll probably be down by that monument. And I think we might even be able to park in the car park there. We'll see how busy it is. Maybe one or two tourists, but overnight I don't suppose there'll be many people there. So we'll probably chance our arm will be alright. But a drive down on the N2 through the mountains, this section we're doing now, is just like really good. It's like a roller coaster ride. It's all third and fourth gear, well fourth gear max really, mostly third gear. Loads of little switchbacks. The road's like really windy round the mountain, and I catch myself trying to look at the views and then think, oh hang on a minute, there's no edge protection here, so you've got to be a little bit careful, have your wits about you. But I think if you was coming down here on a motorbike or whatever, which lots of bikers do this N2 trip, it would be fantastic. You know, there's loads of opportunity to get your knee down round these bends. Yeah, it'd be absolutely fantastic. I reckon you could do this whole trip easily within a week. It's only 700 kilometres from top to bottom. So you could do 50 kilometres, stop for lunch, 50 kilometres overnight stop, and you'd do the whole thing within a week. It would be absolutely brilliant. So yeah, if you're in Portugal and you're looking for something to do, check out the N2. It's a fantastic scenic route, some beautiful picturesque villages, and an interesting way to see the whole country. Right, onwards. The weather's not with us today, as you can see. It's a bit misty and rainy out. But well, hopefully we've found a nice little spot in the next little town. So here's the campsite where we stayed last night. There's plenty of places, all shaded amongst the trees, and the beautiful colours of these maple trees at the moment, where they're shedding their leaves. All these lovely coloured leaves on the floor here. But obviously being shaded by the trees means we're not getting much solar, and obviously the van is now covered in leaves, and probably so are the solar panels. So I'm going to have to get up there and clean them off when we leave. But it's a lovely location. I'll just take you down the front here. There's more space up the back there for motorhomes. Some guys parked in the distance there. Come down here, there's a little communal area, picnic tables and brick built barbecues, and a washing area there. And then this is overlooking this dammed reservoir, which the whole of this area of Coimbra and around the surrounding villages and towns, there's lots of these. Obviously the pool has been left to go a little bit pondy because it's well out of season. You wouldn't expect to be swimming this time of year. It's in November, so it's cold. But yeah, you can see the reservoir down the bottom there. And then behind me here is the toilet and washroom facility. Super clean, really nice inside. Let me just quickly take you in there and I'll show you the facilities. Very quiet at the moment, there's not many people about, so I think there's probably only one or two campers on this site. But ladies, disabled and gents, there we go, look, all very clean, tidy, nice condition. Toilets, and then your shower cubicles, they do have separate changing area, separate cubicle, which is always nice with a divider there, and plenty of hot water, loads of pressure, so a really good shower. During the busy season there would be a bar, and obviously serving a few snacks here as well, I imagine, with a view over the reservoir and the park. And if I zoom in down on the reservoir there's like one of these floating swimming pools, like a pontoon out in the water there, and I see quite a few of these around this region. Little artificial beaches made up and things like that for people to come down and have a play around in the summer. There's also a restaurant down here overlooking the reservoir and overlooking the dam. And just to my right I can see loads of parking spaces up here. Plenty of parking up here. I mean, if you wanted to chance it, if you was in a van or something, you could possibly park in the car park. The restaurant's closed, I don't suppose anybody would bother for one night. So for us to stay here on the campsite with the camper van, 2 people with services, and I paid for a 10 amp electric hookup. Yesterday I spent most of the afternoon doing editing as it was raining. It came to 1650 euros, so that's probably about £14 depending on what the exchange rate is. So I think that's quite reasonable really. It's not too bad. I mean, we've been paying between 10 to 15 euros a night on various campsites at this time of year, so it's very reasonable if you do need to use their facilities. Right, we're off to the next destination on the N2 now, so let's pack the van and go. So that brings us to the end of this episode. I hope you're enjoying this scenic trip down the centre of Portugal, and in the next video we reach the halfway stage and we actually get to stay at one of the most memorable places we've ever stayed in our van. So make sure you don't miss it. Please subscribe to the channel, and if you're enjoying the series, leave me a comment in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Cheers.